Hi, good evening. I would like to welcome our viewers to episode 11 of SSN, that's Slew Sports Night. And this evening we have a wonderful episode awaiting us. We unfortunately without our co-host Ken, who's enjoying himself. Just like to wish him happy birthday. Think he's getting as old as Dyer, who's our other co-host. And remember, Dyer is actually out. He's injured for about a month, and we wish him all the best and hope that he does come back from injury fit as ever. Right. Tonight's episode, we definitely will be looking back at the BOSL T2013 action. We have, we had quite an exciting finals with Monrepo facing up against Grocery, and that one, of course, there was definitely some entertainment in this. We'll be touching a bit on the EPL, football on a whole, UEFA Champions League. Definitely we'll be touching up on West Indies cricket, and we are looking to get the guys down at the Bank of St. Lucia T20 Awards night. That actually is taking place as we speak. We're looking to see if we could get some feed from the guys down there to see if we could interview one or two of the players, the coaches, etc. So tonight's show definitely will be one, just like our past shows with some excitement. We'll be taking in your questions. Remember, you could send your questions to SLU Sports Night. That's NITE at gmail.com. That's slusportsnight@gmail.com. We'll be taking your questions, your comments, and we'll be definitely having an open show this evening. So, thus far, we've had 10 episodes. We've had the likes of Makiba, the likes of Chris Wells, the likes of Brad Worrell. We've also had the McLennan brothers, very young ones, 17 and 12, if I'm correct. Very young guys who were swimmers, national swimmers. We've also had on the show Kashima Noel on the show as well. So we've had quite a number of persons with us on SSN, and definitely, I mean, last week's show, we had the likes of Brian Calix and Eugenia Gregg. Remember, Eugenia Gregg was one of those. Remember, there was a time we had seven women thereabouts on the West Indies cricket team. She was definitely one of the great batsmen back then for St. Lucia. So we definitely have we definitely had a good time on the last episode. Okay, so in terms of the EPL over the weekend, we definitely saw Arsenal showing why they're number one in the EPL. Arsenal getting past Liverpool 2-0, and definitely it was a battle of the midfield. It was one where Arsenal really showed that they had the edge, and because of that edge in the midfield, definitely gave them, the better of Liverpool on the day. One real upset over the weekend, and that was unfortunately to the Chelsea viewers out there. Yes, it was Chelsea. Chelsea losing that game to Newcastle, and definitely Newcastle, they had the crowd behind them. They definitely pushed. They pressured Chelsea. Of course, after they absorbed the pressure in the initial stages of the game. So very well done by Newcastle. They came out and they did very well. You need to give them that. They got the 2 goals. Especially that second goal really killed it off, and they got that victory over Chelsea, which meant that Chelsea, of course, stuck on 20 points. Liverpool also on 20 points, and Tottenham, they're also on 20 points. All of those teams are 5 points behind leaders Arsenal. And Arsenal fans definitely looking for a trophy this time around, and it's almost the trophy to win. I mean, if they definitely seriously looking at winning a trophy, you'd have to say the focus would have to be on the EPL because of that gap that they currently have. In terms of Manchester United, I know there are Manchester United fans out there who wish that Dyer was on the show, but unfortunately he's not. But Dyer, I know you're watching. If you're not watching, then we need can we find out if Dyer is watching? Because if he's not watching, he's definitely doing something wrong. So Dyer, we know that Manchester United, yes, were able to come off with a victory over the weekend, actually playing the best football in the first 20 odd minutes, or probably half an hour, or you could say first 45 minutes of the match, the best football that they've played all season long. However, the second half, they just went back to the Manchester of, or we should say the Manchester that we used to for the season thus far. Unfortunately, there were some injuries. There were 3 substitutions done at halftime, of course, including Dyer's favorite friend, Fellaini. He came on, and that probably was the cause for the lack of energy in the midfield, which may have caused to giving Fulham a chance to come back in the game. But Manchester winning this one 3-1 over the weekend. And Bale and Ronaldo, just stepping away from the EPL for a bit. Bale and Ronaldo look like something's happening. Messi, on the other hand, and Neymar, we could see Neymar definitely coming into his own at Barcelona, and Messi just running through a bit of a rut at the moment. But in terms of the partnerships, we could definitely see Bale and Ronaldo look like it may turn into something special. There's still a long way to go, so we will watch this one and see how it goes. But Bale, after making such, having made that move over to Real Madrid, he definitely would have felt the pressure. He had this injury. He was looking, of course, at that game against Barcelona as one where it could make or break him. But it was very, very early. He was definitely not ready for such a game. Not every player can actually step up to the plate in such big games right away. And he's still learning at Real Madrid. So I'm sure that Barcelona fans don't want to hear that. I think Barcelona fans may well be saying that Bale is the failure already at Real Madrid. But it's really too early to call. What we can say is that he's definitely getting into the action with his assists, with his goals, and definitely helping Real Madrid get even better. So we touched base on the EPL, some bit on the Spanish league. We also had our St. Lucia netball team. Just to make mention of them, they came 4th in a tournament that they just took part in, and we must congratulate the national team. Yes, they did not place in the top 3, but 4th place, I think, was some achievement for them. We do wish them, of course, all the best in the next tournament, and we trust that they will definitely look for a top 3 position the next time around. So congrats to the St. Lucia netball team. I know Dyer has his concerns about netball as a sport, and I know that he was wondering why don't some of the young ladies look to basketball, but that one is for Dyer to discuss when he does come back, and we hope that we can get somebody from Netball Association or a netballer to be on that same show so that they can let Dyer know why netball and not female women's basketball. And while we await for feedback from the guys at the BOSL T20 Awards, remember the Bank St. Lucia T20 tournament just concluded over the weekend. We had winners, Monrepo winning, it was a convincing victory actually for Monrepo over Grosselet. They went ahead and they won by 60 odd runs. Monrepo piling up 189 for 3, with Craig Emmanuel getting 103 not out. Now, Craig, I've known Craig for a while playing cricket, and he was always this classy batsman. He may not be one you would stay and relate to T20 game, but it shows his class. And he went out there, and from reports, it was a really good inning. And John Eugene, of course, played for Grosley in that match. You have the likes of Sergio Fede. So they did play a good Grosley team, who in the semifinals got 175 runs. So definitely getting 189 was definitely a challenge in total. Grosley felt that pressure, and of course they were unable to get the runs, and they were all out. They will run for under 130 runs in that game. So while we just have our producer just check with the guys at the BOSL T20 Awards, and while we do that, you guys could get your questions and your comments ready. We are already seeing that one or two questions are coming in. We will get to that shortly. So while our producer just checks with the folks at the BOSL T20, we will just continue with the show. So we're just trying to get Brian on with us, Brian Calix. So producer, would you just see if you could get in touch with them? And I will be taking a few questions in a bit. Yes, so SLU Sports Night, and of course SLU Sports Night, just to let you guys know, those persons who are viewing for the first time, I know we've had 10 episodes before this one, but it's a show which adds a bit of flavor. We look to feature our local athletes, we look to feature the upcoming athletes, we look to feature, of course, the top athletes. And the athletes come on and they give that encouragement to those persons who are doing the best in whatever sporting whichever field that they're in, whether it be football, whether it be cricket, whether it be basketball, swimming, you name it, table tennis, and they give that encouragement. Also for parents who are looking at getting their son, getting their daughter into a sport, you now have the opportunity where you could say, okay, I've seen this guy on the show. Let me contact SLU Sports Online and see, how I could get in touch with this person or this coach, because I want my son, my daughter to excel at the particular sport. And our viewers, of course, we get to see, athletes, who we may not have known of. Athletes who are doing well, we get to see them, we get to have a nice feel about them, we get to know about them, we get to know what they're looking at next, what they're currently doing. So you get to have a nice feel about it. So it's a really exciting thing to have those athletes on there. I know they have been excited by the whole show, and etc. So we have a question, and Kurt, I think Kurt has asked us a question before. I can remember if that's the same Kurt, but Kurt, he doesn't have his last name. Best strike partnership in the EPL. He has some options: Rooney and RVP. So we'll call that option A. B, Sturridge, Suarez. C, Aguero, Negredo, and well, any other. And I guess the other is in case I wanted to add any other two. So we have Rooney, RVP, that's Manchester United pair. Sturridge, Suarez, Aguero, Negredo, that's Liverpool and Manchester City, respectively. Other, yes, I have one more partnership for you, and that's Ken Howell and Dyer Francis. I mean, these two guys, they're the best strike force. Think about it this way. Ken, today is his birthday. He's approaching Dyer's age. Those guys, they're going to be 60 years of age. Soon they will not be able to come on the show. It will be too much for them. However, the technique, the way that they have decided not to be on the show tonight, the way that they've left me on the show tonight, you must say it's class. It's very classy from those guys. Those guys, I mean, they would find the net at any given time. So I'm not sure about Rooney and RVP. I'm not sure about Sturridge and Suarez. Aguero and Negredo, I would have to say Dyer and Ken. Best partnership, strike force, whichever way you want to call it, in the EPL. Yes. But really and truly, we would have to say currently, Sturridge and Suarez currently are the best partnership. Potentially, Rooney and RVP, of course, that's a no-brainer. And on the day that these two guys are playing well, they would have to be set. They would have to be the best partnership in the EPL and one of the better partnerships in the world. However, Sturridge and Suarez, I mean, you cannot say that they're not the best right now, and they're showing it. They've showed it, and I mean, it's a partnership that any defense really needs to be afraid of. Unfortunately, they did not score any goals against Arsenal, and probably on the weekend, persons are going to say, okay, Sturridge, Suarez, goals against Arsenal, 0. Rooney, RVP, goals against Arsenal, and then you see the comparisons start coming in. But, you know, then again, Sturridge and Suarez, they had opportunities to score against Arsenal, so it's difficult to judge. But I guess after this weekend, you may hear the talk about it. But definitely, currently, the best in the EPL right now in terms of strikers, partnership strikers, you'd have to say Sturridge and Suarez. Potentially on the day, of course, Rooney and RVP are definitely on top. So we're gonna look to take another question shortly. Just before this, we just would like to mention that West Indies, of course, started their test match, the first match against India, and the first test match, West Indies batting very well. They were at one stage 130 odd for 2 before they lost that third wicket of Samuels, and you had Bravo and Samuels putting on 90 odd runs, you know, and that run out of Bravo actually was a key turning point in that match. Samuels, he did step up a bit and started scoring freely. West Indies were looking good at that point in time. To cut a long story short, West Indies all out for 230 odd runs, and really disappointed. Captain Sammy did send out a tweet, and you know, it was like, you know, yes, can't believe what really happened, but at the same time, of course, you know, he's very positive, and he said that, of course, you know, it's the next day, so they're going to look at putting the pressure on today, day 2. India, of course, without loss, they still have the batsman in there at the moment. Dhawan, he's in there looking good. But the great thing is that we have Shane Shillingford. He's bowled some good overs to quiet down the early hurry that the Indian batsmen were in. You had Tino Bess, who was, you know, almost all over the place, and we did have Cottrell. I mean, he was the tall left-hand pace bowler. He never really could have kept it on, you know, a troublesome line and length. He bowled that line away from the batsman, too wide outside of stump, which really didn't cause the Indian batsmen any real problem. We did see 1 or 2 bounce and deliveries from him, and also a bouncer from Tino Best that did cause some problems. But thus far, you'd have to think that West Indies may well have to depend heavily on the partnership of Purmal, spin bowler Purmal, left-hand spin, and of course tall right-hand spinner Shane Shillingford, who's been one of our better test bowler in recent times. Just a reminder that Kemar Roach was actually injured, so he was not able to start or play in this game. We also have on the bench, or persons, you could say, those persons who did not make the team, include the likes of Cook Edwards, who we know is a very good batsman. So he was also one of those who was not on the team. Another disappointing knock for our wicketkeeper, Dinesh Ramdin, and persons are definitely looking to see if he does improve in the second inning, because of course, remember, there is another wicketkeeper in the squad. Yes, there was a big talking point of Sachin Tendulkar. Of course, it's going to be goodbye to Sachin, and you know, one of the signs, one of the boards that one of the fans have is Sachin. We're looking for Sachin. We want the triple century tomorrow. That's on day 2, which starts later this evening about 11:30 local time. and you could see those guys, they still asking for a lot from the little master. They love Sachin. Sachin Tendulkar has played some really, really good innings. Yes, his highest score is just over about 230 odd. He never had a triple century, but Sachin Tendulkar is definitely one that persons are going to miss. I mean, you have the likes of Dhawan, Sharma, you have some really, really good batsmen that are stepping up and filling the void. I mean, if you look at the Indian team and compare to some time ago when you had the Laxman, the Dravid, the Tendulkar, the Ganguly, and how quickly that they're gelling up this team around the captain MS Dhoni. I mean, it's amazing, and the bowling attack, of course, is not one that is experienced apart from Oja and Ashwin. I mean, the two spinners, it's a very inexperienced bowling attack, and West Indies, of course, have a chance to do something in this inning, and of course, one would have expected that the batting would have been what they would need to click, and it was looking good, as we said, being 130 odd for just 2 wickets down and falling 90 runs later, 8 wickets falling, which was something really bad for the team. So while we see if we could get in touch with Kalex and Eugenia, probably we could give them a call to see if we could get anybody on. We're just gonna wait on just so that I could get a few more questions in at the moment. Before we go into the next question, as I wait for that next question to come up on my screen, West Indies definitely they are in with a chance. I mean, the talk was, hey, where is Narine? Now, this is Narine's cricket ground. I mean, Narine in IPL, that is, Kolkata Knight Riders, that's his cricket ground. He gets a lot of pitches in the pitch, gets a lot of turn, and for some reason, of course, some persons are wondering, why isn't Sunil Narine in the West Indies Test squad? Well, it's very simple. Commentators, of course, had their opinions, and some of them made it quite clear what the reasons are. Shane Shillingford has been taking wickets and definitely been our wicket taker when it comes to Test cricket. Permaul has been very, very effective lately, unlike Narine, who has not been effective in the longer format. And of course, what happened is that you find that the teams would definitely, when you play the likes in England, even some of the pitches in the Caribbean, there's not much pitches for the spinners. So you find that the batsmen are just waiting for the ball and playing Narine, taking the time playing him. So you find that they may still not be able to read him, but enough time on those flat pitches to play the spinner. So he's not been given the opportunity to get the type of success that we know he can get. So that's why he's really been out of the team, because I mean, you're looking at Shane Shillingford, who's taking wickets for fun, and you look at Permaul, who's been having some okay performances or good performances, good enough to keep Narine out of the Test squad. And West Indies are just looking, of course, to focus on keeping their ace spinner for the shorter versions of the game, which is the one-day and T20 cricket. So we have another question here. It doesn't say from who, but it says thoughts on squad selection and replacements. And I'm thinking that it has to do with West Indies. Squad selection, I mean, it's my opinion. I believe that the opening pair would be the pair that most persons choose, although persons would say the likes of Gale, of course, is not performing, and we should give someone else a chance, probably the likes of Kirk Edwards, Johnson Charles, some names come in, given an opportunity in the longer version. We all know it's a difficult thing to keep Chris Gale out of the game. Persons know what he's capable of. So that is what's keeping him in the Test squad, and you could almost say he's an automatic selection on that first 11. In terms of our middle order, I know that the likes of Darren Bravo has shown what he's capable of, and of course, scoring over 400 runs in the last tournament in India. Excuse me, he's definitely um, um, one, of course, we would select. In terms of the rest of the squad, I must say that one person that I would have really loved to see um, in that squad, and I'm not too sure what reason he was not there. But it's our tall pace bowler. I'm trying to get the name. The name is not getting to me right now. But I mean, he's been very impressive. If producer can just send a name to me, I will gladly say it. But I mean, he's one that I think he's from Barbados. He's one that we definitely, I definitely thought would have been there. So I'm not sure if he was injured or anything. Rampal, yeah, it would be nice to have Rampal on the team. Unfortunately, his injury is what has kept him out, and because he's been injured, I think the selectors took the safety measure and say, hey, we're not going to bring him because we risk him getting injured, and then how we'd have to look for replacement. Unfortunately, of course, Kima Roach has picked up an injury. Um, so in terms of batsmen, I believe that the team has good batsmen, quality batsmen. I don't see any real changes that would have been needed. Anybody to bring in there in terms of batsmen, in terms of bowlers. Definitely thought that we could have gone for some other bowler. Nothing against Tino Best, but I believe that he's been too inconsistent. He can prove himself and he can prove me wrong. Well, not in terms of consistency, but in terms of performance in this game. But in terms of consistency, whether it be per ball or per match, it has been an issue with Tino Best. Um, in terms I mean, I would have played Narain, probably put Narain in, but you have to ask for whom. It may have to be Promal who would have to be sacrificed, which would have been a tough one. But it's nice to see Shillingford and Narain operating together. I mean, that would have been a interesting partnership to have. I'm still waiting to see if we can get the name of that player from our producer, but he's definitely one that I've seen for the future of West Indies cricket. Um, yes, so basically, we still having some difficulties getting to the guys at the Bay Gardens. Yes, but the player's name is Jason Holder. Yes, and Holder, I mean, he has shown some, that he could have some good line and length. I mean, he bowls really well. I'm not sure if the selectors are looking at him just for the shorter version, but he's definitely one that I thought that would have gotten the opportunity, unless he's injured, which I can't confirm, the opportunity to play for West Indies on that tour in India, especially to bowl to the Indian batsmen. So I would definitely think Holder, Kima Roach, of course, a fit Kima Roach. I would actually play a fit Ravi Rampal before Kima Roach in terms of my first 11 because Rampal, as you know, he has definitely, he's injury prone, but you definitely see that he does have a good line and length most of the time. So we just find out producer. You tried calling the folks at the Bay Gardens. If not, probably we could see if we could give them a call, see if we could get Eugenia and Brian. While we wait on them, we just have a few other things to touch on. We know that the NBA action has begun, and we know that Heat's fans, it's been up and down. It's been up and down for the Heat's fans. I know that the loss was a very tough thing to accept for some Heat, well, if not all Heat's fans. But they're definitely looking for what you call it, the three-peat. So in terms of basketball, I know that many persons, the fans out there, are excited about the new season. There's the whole Kobe Bryant talk, there's the whole three-peat talk. all different types of conversations going on for this new season and creating that excitement for the NBA. And that's something that persons would really want to check out the NBA and see. If you're not supporting your team, I know there's some persons who still support Chicago Bulls. They will tell you, yes, I support Chicago Bulls, and then they ask if Jordan is still playing for Chicago Bulls. That's persons who are not keeping up to date with basketball. So we definitely just have just been trying to get through to Eugenia and the folks down at the Bay Gardens. So while we do that, we just encourage you guys to get your send in your questions and comments. I know we have one or two waiting in line, and we will go through them as they come through. Do I have a question coming in, or is it a comment? Yeah, we just wait and see if we could get that on. Okay, so while I wait for that question or comment, we just like to again wish Ken a happy. How old is he? Is he 50 odd? Um, 50 odd, something of that sort. He said he's 30. Dyer says he's 28. But for some reason, I don't believe those guys when they give their age. Um, I mean, come on. Everybody knows that Dyer and Ken are older than they say they are, right? So SLU Sports Night. Remember, you could send in your comments and your questions. Keep them coming in. We have a few lined up. We're going to take them as they are in order, and we also have a few that we may not be able to go through, but we will get through on our next show. Just waiting for the question to actually show up on my screen. We already have the question or the comment, whichever one it is. But SLU Sports Night, remember it's SLU Sports Night, NITE, at gmail.com. That's what you send your questions to. Remember, you could follow us at SLU Sports Online. That's, of course, the website, SLU Sports Online. That's on Twitter. You could follow us. You get updates there, etc. We also were privileged to bring the BOSL T20 semifinals and finals live scores to www.slusportsonline.com. We had the scores showing on live as it happened in real time. Unfortunately, we were unable to provide persons with the full scoreboard, but of course, it of course was beyond our control in that instant, and we're looking definitely in our future collaborations and future coverage to provide you with such, providing that it's something that sponsors and of course the tournament organizers would like to get into, so that persons can see, and have a better feel for what's going out there. Also, while you're at the game, I mean, you could be at the game and go online to actually see the statistics, because sometimes you're at the game and you're not even sure of what score it is, etc. So that's something that we need to get. That would be something exciting for our folks. Producer, can any of the questions you could send any of the questions and comments for me, please? Still just waiting for them to show up on my end. So in terms of sports, as I said, oh yes, this one, yes, I have been waiting for this one. Yes, the old debate, Sachin or Lara. I don't want to be the one to answer that question, but I have to, right? Sachin Tendulkar or Brian Charles Lara. Depends on what you're looking for. I mean, they're both exciting to watch. Lara, of course, more flair. Lara, bigger scores, so keeps you excited for longer periods. Sachin, class. I mean, a joy to watch. I mean, you could say that it depends on what style of cricket that you're looking at. But in terms of achievement, we must say that when it comes to records, Lara has definitely, won battles in that case. Sachin has his own in terms of aggregate runs, aggregate games played. When it comes to individual records like most runs in tests, record of 400 not out, first class 501 not out. And remember those knocks and not outs from Brian Charles Lara. Who knows what he could have gone on to get. Not only breaking the record, but only one who has lost the record and of course came back to break the record. So it's to decide between the two. If I go based on bias, my favorite, I would have to go with Brian Lara. But I know there are persons who will say Sachin, and again, it depends. It depends on what you're looking at. Some persons will say Sachin has been more consistent. Um, you know, Lara has not been as consistent, but he has consistently been scoring some big runs. And the other thing to note also is that Sachin has had some good players playing around him, whereas Brian had not. Some persons would say if Lara had the type of attack that Sachin would face, let's say when West Indies was playing, if Lara had to face the West Indian bowlers, probably he would score more runs. This may not hold true, but you could see, Brian Lara had, he didn't have the Gale like we know Gale is right now. He didn't have the Samuels like we know the player Samuel is. Chanapal has always been that player there, but Chanapal is even better now. If those players were in the peak together with the time that Brian Lara was around, who knows, it would have been a different situation. I've seen Brian Lara, honestly could have been opening the batting for most of the times, be the opening batsman, because by the time he comes in, it's one down, two down, and just a few overs. So it definitely difficult one to just judge, because they definitely played through different situations. So I don't want to be the one to decide. But if I go again with my bias and my opinion, I would have to say Brian Lara. I don't want to go on with this for too long, because I know that some persons may disagree, and that's fine, because of course we each have our opinion on such. Okay, so anything coming in again? I know our producer seemed to be picking and choosing those questions and comments. We have one. I think the person probably came on late. The question is, where is Dyer, Francis, and the other one? I think it's okay. Yes, it's Ken Howell. Yes. Dyer, remember, will be with us sometime down, probably within a month's time. Ken just has the night off it's his birthday, so we didn't want any birthday hats and any balloons and Spider-Man toys and stuff on the show. So Ken, we definitely had to do without Ken this evening. We prefer him open his toys, his Max Steel and George toys by himself, right? So unfortunately, it's Ken's birthday. Well, not unfortunately, but fortunately, I'm sure which side he looks at it, because there is a time, when you turn 18, that you're happy. You can't wait for you to go 19, and oh boy, you can't wait for you to leave the teens, get into 20. But at a certain age, when you start getting to those 30s, etc., or probably 50s, like Ken, I think you're wishing that you were 18 once again. So I trust that he's happy. From all of us at SLE Sports Online, Sports for You, which is the company, our viewers, sponsors, would like to wish Ken a wonderful birthday. We know it's almost over, and we would like to know that when he comes on the show next week, Wednesday, God's will, that he will be happy with the gifts that he got for his birthday. So Ken, I do trust that I think our viewer finally knows that why you're not there. So if you want to send Ken a gift, you could send it to him via WhatsApp. All right. Dyer, as we know, Dyer in being down in New York, he has to deal with his daylight saving time. I think that's the most stressful thing he has to deal with. I don't think that any other work is really stressing him out. So wish him all the best with that, and trust that he does get to his football matches on time. You still play football, right? Yeah. So guys, so viewer, I trust that I answered your question. Yes. So any are we getting through with Calix and the folks down there? Okay. Still nothing from them. The show would be wrapping up shortly. We'll be definitely wrapping up shortly. But we still have some time. So once they're able to join us, we will have them on for whatever short time that we can. So definitely we'll be getting some information from the awards going on tonight. The awards, as we said, at the Bay Gardens Hotel. So we definitely will be getting some information from them for next Wednesday's show, and we know that the likes of Craig Emmanuel, the likes of Tarek Gabriel, who had a wonderful 80 odd runs off a total of 100 and something runs. That when Castro Central were 100 and let's say 112, he was 80 odd. He had 80 odd of those runs. That's like three-quarters of those runs. So he did have a good knock, but it wasn't enough to defeat Grosley in the semifinals of the BUSL T20 tournament. And hats off to the sponsors, Bank of St. Lucia, for having such a tournament. I know that there's a lot of pressure being put on sponsors, and there's talk that there needs to be more sponsorship into our sports. And it's something that I totally agree with. But we need to give, jackets, and there are some companies who definitely, look to sponsor almost every sports tournament there is, and we need to be happy for that. I believe that the excitement for sports is not really a sponsorship problem in itself. I believe that our sports is being affected from our school level, and being a cricket coach and coaching one of the secondary schools. I will not say the secondary school, so that persons don't get to say, hey, this coach has never won a game. So just to protect that, or I don't want anybody to say that, hey, this is the coach who wins every game. So I mean, I see that there are students who want to play the sport. The problem is they've been it's a tough group of students. The youth that we have, I mean, you have many persons, that gone were the times when detention was a big thing, suspension was a big thing. Now it's just suspension is like detention. So you find a lot of the kids, are misbehaving, and it's preventing them from going to play their game because they're on suspension. The teachers would prevent them from playing. I mean, definitely it's something that has to be done. Discipline is key. But it's definitely affecting the sports, and I believe that there needs to be something done in terms of entertainment. There needs to be something done to better, I mean, persons now, they go online. A lot of students now go online, and I think just one second. I think we have producer. Would you just get in touch with Miss Greg? I'm just getting a call from her. I'm just going to let that call end, and then just give her a call. I think they're trying to get through to us right now. That's Eugenia Gregg. That's former St. Lucia and West Indies female cricketer. So we're just gonna see how we can get in touch with her and see if they're trying to come onto the show. But just to continue with the point, I believe that like sports cricket, for example, not many students come out there to watch the games. I mean, because it's a game that is played during school hours, you find that the students are not given the opportunity to go and watch any cricket. I mean, a sport like that, you can't really see any development in that if the students are not getting a chance to go out there and support the school. And you have basketballs, the sports at the complex. Maybe we can add this little flavor in it. Have a few dances, have a few dance groups, have this entertainment at the sports, because that's what sports is about. It's about entertainment. The youth today, that's what they deal with, entertainment. I mean, you may see it in the way they act. They've been troublesome, but say one, say two, for them it's entertainment. So probably if we could put this entertainment in the sports, and of course good entertainment, that is, it would definitely help. So poor attendance at certain cricket games and football games should not just be put and blamed. The sponsors should not just be taking the blame. I mean, there are other persons who should have responsibility, and us at SLU Sports Night, we also have to step up like anybody else. And this is why we deciding, hey, we have the opportunity now to create some excitement. We're gonna have those live scores, etc. So that persons have that excitement, because having live scores, we can't just say because the score is going to be live, I'm going to stay home, it's going to be live. Yes, there will always be people like this, but it doesn't. What it does, it creates an excitement. I mean, imagine you seeing your son batting and he's on 40 odd runs, or he's on 30 odd runs, and you say, okay, I'm not too far from the field, let me just go ahead and watch him score at 50. You're at the school, you want to know how your school is doing, you go on and you could see the update. We have with that. That the guys are wrapping up in about 5 to 10 minutes. What we're gonna do, we will be ending in about 10 minutes, or just over 10 minutes, sorry. So we will give them that allotted time. If they do join us within that allotted time, we could give them 5 minutes. We'll get 5 minutes extra on the show, 5 to 10 minutes extra on the show, to have them be with us for this evening. That's the guys at the Bank of St. Lucia T20. The awards night, remember, is tonight. Bank of St. Lucia T20 cricket competition just finished over weekend past, with Repos defeating Grosile, and persons were thinking probably Grosile will make it a double, winning the Black Hat competition, football competition, and gonna win the cricket competition. But Repos said, hey, no, we're not doing this. And you had Craig Emmanuel with 103 runs, helping Repos to 189 runs. So that definitely helped. So we have any question that we could go through? Any comment that we could go through? I know that we have our producer working out there with various things, just ensuring that we get through with our guys at the Bank of St. Lucia Awards, and also getting the questions to me on screen so that I could go through. So while we get that done, while we get another question, we just want to go through, I mean, sports and what's going on today. I mean, today we're looking at technology. That's what it is. That's what it's about. We can't be doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. I mean, we have the same way sports used to be back then when I was going to school, and when Ken and Daya were going to school, which was further back then. We're looking at probably in the 1950s in their case. But nothing has changed. And I mean, well, there may be one or two changes, but there needs to be something more that will cause this excitement, because we can't expect the excitement to just start, at a senior tournament. It has to begin from the youth, because they are the future. What we feel in now is what we didn't deal with the years gone by, and if we continue not to deal with it, it's going to be more difficult for us to get any excitement in our local sports. And it's time sports. We need to see our sportsmen online. We need to see our sportsmen on YouTube. We need to see them out there, because that's the way that the scouts can see them. So we have a question from John. John asks, why doesn't the Ryan's bowling translate from T20 to Test? John, probably you joined us a bit late, or probably I didn't hit that on the nail earlier on. So just to go through it. Sunil Narain, as we know, is our best bowler um, in one days and in T20. He's right now second in one days because he's not played a game yet, and Ajmal just finished a series. Ajmal actually just went up to number one. Sunil Narain is now at number two, but Sunil Narain is number one in T20, so he's the best bowler out there in the world. We know right now. In terms of Test cricket, he has not had great figures. I mean, he went for a lot of runs for a few wickets, for like 3 wickets against Bangladesh in the Bangladesh series. But the pitches that Sunil has batted on, and what I love about Sunil Narain being in our Test squad, and if we realize our record, we've won 5 of our last Test 5 Test matches. Um, why Sunil has played a great part in that, and I remember speaking to someone and I said, hey, guess what, Sunil Narain needs to be in that team, because whenever Sunil Narain is in the team, our batsmen get the opportunity to score runs, and that's where we are strong, our batting. However, we're strong now in our bowling because we have a mystery bowler and we have another guy by the name of Shillingford, and we have one or two pace bowlers. If they hold their own, we have a fair enough side. When Sunil Narain is in the West Indies team for Test matches, the teams prepare flat pitches. Most of the pitches are flat. I mean, the likes of Gale, the likes of Darren Bravo, I mean, Shandapal, these are guys who will take advantage of it and who can take advantage of it. Powell, Marlon Samuels, and that's what they did in the games. But moving Sunil Narain, what it does is that the teams now can put pitches that could turn just enough for the spinners, and we now taking away that mental battle, that we have when Sunil Narain is in the team. But Sunil Narain, basically, when he plays, the pitches are very they flat, they slower. Excuse me, they slower. So you find that the batsmen have enough time to play him and to see him through, and that's why there's no rush in Test cricket, and that's why you have him not scoring, not being as effective in the longer version of the game. So we're just gonna wait to see if we get through to the guys at the BOSL T20. While we wait, we're gonna see if we get another question or two. Yes, just gonna see if our producer, what we have here. Yes, but West Indies definitely a better team with Sunil Narain in it. Just looking at the team sheet and you see Sunil Narain, it does help. So I trust that I have answered your question clear enough, and you could always send a comment if I have not. So while we wait, as I said, we're going to see as we could take as many of our questions and comments as possible. Oh, wow. Yes, we have one here. What's the reason for changing SSN, which of course is Slow Sports Night, from Monday nights to Wednesday nights? What the viewer has basically pointed out is SSN used to be on Mondays up till episode 9. We started off episode 10, which was a special episode, on Wednesday night, and we of course kept Wednesday night for episode 11, and we staying on with Wednesday night until further notice. SSN is definitely we're definitely looking to be different. We're definitely looking to be innovative. So we said, hey, let's use another night. Let's use Wednesday. The folks came together and they said, okay, fine, let's use Wednesday. Wednesday night, really good. We had to deal with the issue of daylight saving. We've not gone through that one, fully as yet. But there was a talk about starting the show at 9 p.m. because of daylight. saving. But this is stuff that we're looking into. For now, we on Wednesday nights. Anytime anything time is changed, we will let you know. But for 9 episodes, we were Monday at 8 p.m. Local time, and we've shifted. This is our second episode on Wednesday at uh, at 8 p.m. local time, and probably it's a good thing because we're expecting the guys from the BUSL Awards to be for this evening. We know that they're just wrapping up um, to see how they can come over with us live. We have another 6 minutes on the show, and once they can join us within those 6 minutes, we're gonna extend the show for another 5 to 10 minutes to accommodate them. If not, we definitely have a show next week. We're gonna ensure that we get representatives and we get persons on that show. Um, and we continue to give you a show with a difference. We continue to give you the best in terms of featuring of our athletes. And I think we're just trying to see if we could get in touch with folks at the Big Islands at the moment. We'd also like to say thanks to persons who supported SLU Sports Online. We've had many persons who've shown their support, including the likes of Computer and Business Services. They've shown their support to Sports in St. Lucia and ensuring that we get everything going. We've also have National Printry, also National Printing Corporation, the likes of 300 Customs, Eagles Freight. Those folks are brokerage companies.
Hassan.
They showing their support. We're gonna be down with the folks at the BUSL 20 Awards. I think we have someone with us right now. We will be looking to go to them. I think I can identify the gentleman in the background. We'll go to them shortly. I think it's Craig Emmanuel. So you could just let me when we're ready to go over to them. We will do just that.
Yeah, Hassan.
Hi, Craig, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
I think we just getting everything organized on their end. So we just gonna wait them to come over, and we're gonna take it from there.
You can hear us, Hassan? We can hear you. Hassan, we can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so you guys, I can hear you guys now. So it was on my end. All right, Craig. Before we get into anything about that 103 over the weekend, we just like to know what is the atmosphere like this evening at the awards.
Well, it was quite enthusiastic. The room was quite filled with many of the affiliates and some of the team members, especially the Monaco team members and the other finalists, Rosalie. But it was well put together by the organization. The sponsors were there. Prizes were given out, and all in all, things were quite good. Right now, the guys are treating themselves to some refreshment, so I would imagine they're having quite a feast right now.
Wonderful. Before we close, we want to close the show if you're getting some of your colleagues to come and show themselves to the viewers and show SSN is live and also is kept on the site for some time, so persons can always view it at a later time. We want to ask you about the 103 runs you scored unbeaten over the weekend. What was that like? How was it out there in the middle?
Well, to be quite honest, being the captain of the Monaco team, it was quite customary for me to put forth so much of a big performance on such a big stage. I would think that being the captain and scoring 100 at the final for my team, bringing us to victory almost, was the best thing that I could have ever done for my team, the best gift that I could have given them, so to speak. So for me, it was just being the captain that I am and doing my role to the very best of my ability, which was just contributing as best as I can, being a leader almost.
That's great, and knowing you for quite a while from the times of St. Mary's College, you've always shown that you have leadership from young age and determination. And it was nice just on a personal note just to see you amongst the runs in the finals. And basically, I want to ask you also, when you guys went out there to bat, what sort of total that you're actually looking at?
Well, initially at the toss, we were thinking of almost 200 because in recent times, if you want to follow international cricket, the Bonsejour wicket has been, as a matter of fact, the Crafton guy who's responsible for the wicket have actually improved it a great deal. So I guess 150 wouldn't have sufficed on such a day. 200, 210 was what we were looking for, but unfortunately, though, we fell short by 10 or 15 runs, but it was enough to pull off the victory for us.
That's great, and I know a lot of the viewers would probably agree with me that if I was on the Grosley team, you would not have gotten past 3 runs, you know. So, but we'll not get into that. but I mean it's wonderful to see you amongst the runs and in good nick, and we know that Grosley scoring 170 odd in their last game, that I'm sure that you guys definitely said, hey, we need to get as many runs as possible. There are guys like the Sergio Fede, the John Eugene in the team, and getting those runs was something needed. But Craig, to ask you, how have you adjusted your style of play to T20? Because I can recall Craig Emmanuel, who's very very defensive, compact, and would pace innings nicely. How have you adjusted to the T20?
Well, to me, I consider T20 to be an entertainment sport, very compact, very enthusiastic, and very high octane. So to me, it's just a mindset. If you play in longer version cricket, you have much more time to deal with conditions and whatnot. With T20, there isn't that much time. It's pretty much get on with it. So for me, it was just an adjustment, a mental adjustment, a mental approach, and going out there all guns blazing, really.
Nice. Do you guys have the trophy with you on the other end?
Actually, the guys it's a bit of a distance away, having a little soiree with the silverware, and I'm having a few drinks and eat. So I don't think I could probably pull it from them at this point.
Okay. Well, if you go back out there and you could get in touch with them, it would be nice for you to come back with it and just have them, say a few hoorays before we close with you guys. If you can't, it would be nice to get probably one of your teams, probably Shelvin, Charles, or probably even from the other teams, probably Gary Mathre or Sergio to say a few words just before we end.
Actually, Sergio is not in, and the guys that you mentioned left already. It's just the other guys.
Oh.
But
okay,
before you close off, I really like to say it's okay that you mentioned me in the final and what I did, but it would be quite memorable of me to mention that the rest of my teammates really did pull through. I mean, we had young guys like Christian Shalry, young under 19. All-rounder. We had Moving Wells, presently representing the senior Windward Islands team. We have Leslie James, young fast bowler. Hazel Shalry, national selectee. Gavin Serrier, a veteran of local cricket. I mean, several guys. Sabinas Emmanuel, young wicketkeeper batsman coming through the ranks. So really and truly, it wasn't just me, man. It was a full team effort. I mean, we pulled through all the way, all through the basics, and the whole tournament was not just myself. It was a lot of work, it was a lot of practice, and a lot of dedication and discipline from all the guys.
Wonderful, Craig. And also, one more thing, how was it in terms of the sponsors? I know they did play a great part in it, and Bank of St. And it was really, how was the experience with them this evening at the awards?
Well, Bank of St. Lucia being the financial institution that they are, lended some support in the chief sponsor of this tournament, and we really like to, me being the captain and doing so on behalf of all the other teams, would really like to say kudos to them for taking the initiative in terms of harnessing youth development and also financing and helping in the structuring and the building of talent sports-wise in St. Lucia.
Okay, and as we close, Craig, would you like? We'll just give you the open floor for about 20 seconds, and also like you to answer. How does it feel, to be on SSN tonight? I know it's probably your first time being on, of course, your first time being on the show, hopefully hearing about it. I know you've been busy with your cricket, but you know, how does it feel to be on SSN, and do you like the vibe of the Google Air, etc.?
At this point, I'd just like to say thanks so much for having me. Actually, tonight is the first night that I've actually heard about SSN. Brian actually brought it to my attention, so I feel very honored to be part of your program, and I wish you very best in your future endeavors in terms of growing and getting big out there.
Thank you, Craig, and we look forward to having you on another show at some time in the near future, and also wish you success in your upcoming games. And remember, you could always call me if you need an extra bowler, right?
Yeah, sure, man. I'll welcome your experience at any given time.
Wonderful. Enjoy and have a wonderful evening. Say good evening to Brian, Gina, and the guys for us. All right, so enjoy.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Wonderful. Yes, so we just had Craig Emmanuel with us. I mean, humble guy, down to earth, and also very dedicated gentleman playing cricket. We've probably seen him representing St. Lucia, Windwards. I mean, he has been a really good talent from secondary school, and it's nice to see him doing well, not just as the individual, but talking about the team and just to see how you know, he said, hey, it wasn't just me, it was the team, you know, and the team effort. I mean, guys, we have talent in this country. We have, you know, persons who have the will to go out there and do well, and it's just to nourish, it's just to feed it, it's just to keep the positive in there. There will be the negative, there will be the speed humps, there will be the challenges, but you know, it's getting over it. I know that Craig would have gone through his challenges. I know Darren Sammy had his challenges. You know, he got over it. You know, today we have our current crop who have their challenges, and it's just to help them go through it as well. And you know, we just would like to thank Brian, Calix, Eugenia, Greg for making this possible, for having Craig on with us this evening. I would like to thank our viewers out there who tuned in. Would like to thank persons who send the comments and also their questions. And we'd like to let you know that episode 12 coming up next week. We'll definitely be having some giveaways on that episode, compliments our sponsors, and we're going to take it, of course, to another level. We know that you guys have been patient in terms of waiting for this interview with Craig. We know that you guys were probably looking also for further excitement with Ken and Daya being on the show. That is to come in episode down the road when all three of us will be on. So we just like to thank you guys for tuning in. We'd encourage you guys to continue to visit the website www.slusportsonline.com. Follow us, SLU Sports Online, that's on Facebook, on Twitter, at SLU Sports Online. Encourage your friends to do the same. Encourage persons that you know in sports to do the same. So for all those joining us right here in St. Lucia and around the world, this is where I sign off, Hassan, saying good evening.